Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Tarot-Scopes again. We're going to be doing the Tarot-Scopes for the sign of Aries. That's Aries Sun, Aries Moon, Aries Rising, for the month of May 2025. I also want to say that the Aries reading, astrological reading, at least for the general public, is probably the most accurate from a perspective of the archetypes. So if you want somebody to know what's going on astrologically, the Aries reading is probably the one that'll apply to most people. All right. So before we get into the reading and the astrology, I want to welcome my new subscribers. Welcome to this wonderful community of like-minded souls. To my tried and true who have been with me for years as we've walked this very winding road together. Thank you so much. You know how much it has meant to me to have you by my side. For my new members on my YouTube channel, thank you for your membership. I am still learning the ropes with that, so there is more to come, including lives and some specific tarot readings for the membership. And for my Patreon, my patrons on Patreon, thank you so much for your continued support. It means the world to me. You will also be getting more stuff for your Patreon, for being a patron. Okay, so we're going to start with the just general look at the astrology for the month of May. And for those of you who are not all that into the astrology per se, I will put a timestamp so you can go straight to the tarot reading if that's what you choose to do. So, all right, let's get started. All right, so what are we looking at? Well, we're looking at what's going on in May. We're looking at the Tree of Life. And I want to start with the Tree of Life. So we can see that this month we're working with these three vibrations here. We have the 9 vibration, the Hermit. This is the universal year vibration. The Hermit sits on this path right here. It's associated with the number 9. 9 is about separating the wheat from the chaff. 9 is the end of a cycle and creating the seeds for the next cycle that'll happen in 2026. And of course, we're utilizing all those Virgoan qualities. Now, the south node of the moon this year is in Virgo. And so part of the Virgo energy that we'll be working with is what do we need to let go of? And perhaps the need to be perfect is one of those things that we need to let go of. We're not going to have all the answers. And so we need to, I think, perhaps sort of let it go, let go of the control and allow spirit to work through with the North Node in Pisces. Excuse me. We also have the 5 vibration because we're in the 5th month. That's the Hierophant card, which incidentally is associated with Taurus, which of course the sun is in Taurus for the first half of May. And this deals with listening to that small, still voice within. The Hierophant card deals with wisdom, both traditional wisdom that we get from our professors and our priests and our popes and the like and our elders of the church, but also ancient wisdom, and ancient wisdom based on your specific connections. Some of you are connected. Your ancient wisdom is connected to your indigenous roots, and those are activated as well. And then if we take those 2 vibrations together, we add them, we get a 14-5. That path is right here, right in the center of the tree, connecting the Sephiroth of the moon with the Sephiroth of the sun. This is the Temperance card in the tarot, and it is associated with the sign of Sagittarius. And of course, Sagittarius is about the truth. It's about the truth. It's about truth and justice. The path of the 14-5 path is considered the path of the mystic, or the path of temptation. And so we will be tempted to be pulled off our mission. Sagittarius is very mission oriented, but it really is important that you keep putting one foot in front of the other with your eye on the prize. And what is the prize? The prize is Tippereth, the heart, beauty, love, uh, community, responsibility to others, responsibility to our own heart, responsibility to the children. Okay, so we start May. Uh, First big thing to happen is Venus, the planet of love, conjoins Neptune in Aries at the end of March. Neptune went into that first degree of Aries, hasn't been there since 1861. And then we had Venus move into Aries at the end of April. She has been going through this retrograde cycle. So in April, she turned around. She actually turned around on the 12th, the same day as the full moon in Libra, which happens to be a Venus ruled sign. And she turned around and she started moving forward. But she was back in Pisces when she turned around. She had retrograded into Pisces, which is actually a nice place for Venus because Venus is exalted in Pisces. She turned around at a very powerful degree for Venus in Pisces, and then started moving out of Pisces and moved into Aries right at the end of April. And now, as she comes into May, she meets up with Neptune. Neptune and Venus have a special relationship because Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. Higher octave meaning bringing the energy of Venus, which is the energy of love, to its highest expression. And so we are filled with spirit. We are filled with love. We are filled with that as Venus starts to move forward through the month of May. On the 4th of May, Pluto, the planet of change, the planet of power, stations retrograde. So Pluto in Aquarius can be the powerful, those in power who deal with technology. And so we could maybe see a step back from those people as the common folks kind of move forward, and certainly the energy of the feminine coming forward with now Venus in the sign of the warrior, Aries. On the 5th, Mercury makes a lovely waning sextile to Jupiter. This informs us, and this information is way back from um, uh, it is almost a year's worth of information coming and informing us. So we're getting some information on how to move forward in a more progressive way. A lot of the we have some pretty intense sextiles this month. Most of those sextiles have the energy of moving into a more progressive future. Um, on the 6th, we have Venus making a sextile to Pluto. This is not a progressive sextile, but it's an opening the line of communication sextile. We are expressing our values and our desires. On the 10th, Mercury ingresses into Taurus. This stabilizes the mind a bit. Mercury in Taurus is very practical and pragmatic. It's been in Aries, and you know Aries, sometimes it's like in mind, out mouth, insert foot. There's a little bit less of that, although Mercury in Taurus can be very stubborn. So people who tend to dig in will probably dig in even a little bit harder. So don't try to convince the unconvincible. On the 12th, we have a full moon in the sign of Scorpio, with the moon in Scorpio, the sun in Taurus. That is the axis of values. The moon in Scorpio is the values we share with others, while the sun in Taurus is our own values and our own resources. On that day, we also have Mercury make a first quarter square to Pluto, and that is a crisis in action. So you may hear people saying things rather powerfully at that time. It's really about figuring out what foundations we need in order to move forward. On the 17th, the sun conjoins Uranus. This is the start of the sun-Uranus synodic cycle. The sun illuminates, Uranus wakes us up. And so that's a very powerful combination. It's happening at 28 degrees of Taurus. And then a few days, about 7 days later, we have the same thing happen with Mercury and Uranus at that 28th degree of Taurus. So 28th degree of Taurus is very active this month. On the 18th, Mercury squares Mars. We could have some argumentation on that day, just be aware of that. And on the 20th, we have the Sun making a sextile to Saturn. This opens the lines of communication just as the Sun ingresses into Gemini. And once the Sun ingresses into Gemini, we get the energy lightens up a bit because Taurus is very practical, pragmatic, very hardworking. When the Sun goes into Gemini, now we're ready to sort of go and talk to people. Before that, we were kind of too interested in our own stuff, and now with the Sun in Gemini, it sort of illuminates our ability to communicate to each other. On Thursday, the 22nd, Venus makes a trine to Mars, and the Sun makes a sextile to Neptune. These are both really nice energies, so this is a really good day to get along and to talk to people, to open the lines of communication with them, but also to open the lines of communication with spirit. On the 24th, the Sun makes a trine to Pluto, and Mercury conjoins Uranus, just as I said it would, right? And Mercury and Uranus have a special relationship because Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, higher vibrational frequency. They're both mentally stimulating planets, and of course, very stimulated in that 28th degree of Taurus. And probably the most important thing or most consequential thing that's going to be happening this month is on that day, the 24th, as Saturn ingresses into Aries. Saturn hasn't been in Aries since the late 90s, about 29 years ago. So it is significant. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Saturn is reality. So it's as if Saturn is starting a whole new cycle as it moves into the first sign of the zodiac. It will go back into Pisces to finish up before it goes into Aries at the beginning of next year and stays there for 2.5 years. On the 25th, Mercury ingresses into Gemini. Now, Mercury is a Gemini is a Mercury ruled sign, so Mercury is powerful in Gemini. Sort of comes, and we have the Sun there already. Now Mercury's there. Mercury's moving pretty fast, so it doesn't take long for Mercury to catch up with the Sun. In fact, at the end of the month, we have a conjunction between the Sun and Mercury. Mercury, coming out of its retrograde period, tends to speed up. And move through signs pretty quickly. Also on the 25th, we have Mercury making a sextile to Saturn. As it moves into Gemini, same thing happens with the Sun, right? So that Saturn energy really does sort of boost the Mercury. The difference is when the Sun made a sextile to Saturn, Saturn was still in Pisces. Now Saturn is in Aries, your sign, and with Saturn in Aries, especially for the Aries, this is a time when the rubber meets the road, when you really have to kind of get serious about things. So to all those Aries out there, it's time to get serious. On the 26th, we have a waxing sextile to Neptune from Mercury. Again, Mercury very active, right? And a new moon in Gemini. So if Mercury rules Gemini and the new moon is in Gemini, it influences it. And with a sextile to Neptune, we have big influence from spirit. So we have a lot of help from spirit with this new moon in Gemini. On the 27th, Mercury makes a trine to Pluto. This is a flow of creative energy from the very soul, from our very soul. This is really deep, deep thinking and just deep movement, deep movement. And it's all in air. And so this is really mind deepening of the mind, genius stuff, just genius stuff. And then on the 30th, as I said, we have the conjunction between the Sun and Mercury. It is what we call a superior conjunction. And so when you look at it, it's we're on Earth, and then the Sun, and then Mercury is actually behind the Sun, although it's in the same degree as the Sun, so it's considered conjunct. But we can't see Mercury because it's on the other side of the Sun. It acts a little bit like an opposition, even though you can't actually ever have an opposition between the Sun and Mercury, but from the perspective of Earth, it's like Mercury is on the other side of the sun. And so there's more space in between, but the sun does tend to take over, of course, because it is the largest thing um, in the solar system. All right, so that is for everybody really. And now let's look specifically at your chart. And I've pretty much said everything that I want to say, except that I do want you to take notice where all the energy is in May. We have a lot of energy in the first house because it's the Aries house, right? We have some energy in the second house and the third. So for Aries, this month is really 1, 2, 3. I am, I have, and I think. So you're going to be having and thinking a lot. Okay, so the sun starts in Taurus in the second house, your house of resources. So resources become, and resourcefulness becomes important. It is conjunct. I mean, we do have Uranus there, and of course, um, the sun conjoins Uranus, starting that new synodic cycle, right? Waking up to your own value, perhaps. Then we have Mercury and Uranus here as well. They have their conjunction, right? The sun then moves into Gemini on the 20th, into that third house, stimulating our mind. Jupiter is there, so our mind's pretty stimulated already. The sun just sort of brings light to what we've been thinking. And there's Mercury, of course, in Gemini at the end of the month. But you notice that Mercury starts in Aries, so it doesn't spend a lot of time in Aries. It moves into Gemini pretty quickly, but we do have a lot of energy moving through here. Venus spends the whole month in Aries. Remember, she is now moving forward. She has conjoined Neptune, and she's moving forward through the first house. Venus in the first house is really nice for you. You look good when Venus runs through your first house. And of course, now you have Saturn moving from the 12th house, which isn't really that much fun, into the first house, which I'm not sure that's a lot of fun either. But this is when this is talking about getting serious. This is also a time for you to be good to your body. You want to look at your health regimes and the like. We have Mars here in the fifth house of creativity now that it's moving forward, and we'll spend the whole month in Leo. Mars in Leo is very creative, and you like having a Mars in Leo. Believe me, Aries, especially after all that time in Cancer, that could have been very frustrating for you. But now it's moving forward and it's moving on, and this is a time for great creative potential for you. We do have Pluto up here in the 11th house. Remember, Pluto moved into Aquarius in November of 2024, and it's going to be there for about 20 years. So you're going to get used to seeing Pluto up there in the 11th house. The nodes of the moon, we have the North Node in Pisces moving through your 12th house. This is faith, right? This is taking the leap of faith, believing that spirit has your back. And then we have the South Node in Virgo moving through the sixth house. This is a time to let go of bad habits, including if you have a tendency towards perfectionism or not doing it until it's absolutely perfect. Sometimes you just got to let that go. We do have a new moon in the sign of Gemini in the third house. That's the new moon at the latter part of the month. Um, and so this is new ideas. This is planting a new seed, maybe some new neighbors. Maybe you're in a new neighborhood, or maybe a new relationship with a sibling. We have the full moon, which happens first, right? The full moon happens on did I say the 12th? I think it's the 12th. And it's activating your second and eighth house. This is the house of values, the house of life and death, the house of your resources as an individual and your shared resources with a marriage partner or a business partner or the rest of the country, right? This is Social Security. This is insurance, right? And so we have activation of that axis. All right, so that is what's going on for you. So a pretty exciting month. All right, let's do card reading. And I don't know which deck is in here. Oh, good, I love this deck. So we're going to be using the Modern Spellcasters deck for you, Aries. I don't know if I've ever used this one on you. Um, You lucky. You usually get the Toth deck. But I already used the Toth deck for somebody else, so you get the modern spellcasters. I really do like this deck. Not just the artwork, which is really nice, but just the deck, the theme of the deck. Certain decks, I guess it's a personal thing, you have decks that resonate with you and ones that don't. Like I've never been able to use the golden because it's too like uh the images are too medieval. Probably had a couple of bad experiences in my medieval lifetimes, as a witch and all. All right, we start with the Knight of Cups, jumping out of the water. Look at me. I have a good idea. I'm offering the cup of love. Life is beautiful. Life is wonderful. Well, it is. It is. There is a little idealism here, or a lot of idealism. I'm married to an Aries, and he's one of the most idealistic people I know. And he'll say stuff, and I used to say, I'd be like, Michael, what are the chances of that happening? And he's get mad at me. So I I stopped doing that because there's an exuberance and an innocence that comes with Aries, and you'll find out for yourself whether it's going to work or not. So I don't have to be the one to rain on your parade. The challenge is moving forward. Is this is the two of wands. The two of wands is about uh moving forward, but this guy can't really move forward. He's tied to one of the wands, and he's sort of he's tied to both of the wands actually, and he's talking to the bird here. So there seems to be there's this exuberance to move forward, like emotionally, you're like, yay, let's go. But then like you're not really sure how to move forward. There's a lack of maybe focus or too many things. You're considering too many things. Let's see what's at the root. You're still mourning some losses. You're still mourning some losses. It's understandable. It's understandable. But you have two cups. You have two cups, so don't spend the time worrying about what's going to go wrong because it's gone wrong in the past, maybe. Um, but take what you have and move forward anyway. This is moving forward anyway. In the past, we have the Page of Cups. Now, this generally is good news. But in this deck, it's a little bit maybe too many good times here. Too much carousing. I'll leave that to you if that's you. I'm not judging. Okay. In the sky, we have the Four of Wands. This is coming together with people. So there's an opportunity for some social interaction, and I think it would be helpful for you. I think it would help you get out of. There's a sense of coming out of the dark and isolation, um, and I think having other people around is a good thing for Aries this month. We have in the immediate future, and this is the card for the month, really. It's the Death card. And the Death card is about change. It's about letting go of what no longer serves you, leaving those things behind. Leaving those things behind. All right. How it's seen from the outside. Well, you seem like you're being pretty practical. You're trying to amass something and protect what you do have. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Oh, your domestic situation, new opportunity, a lot of potential, a lot of new potential coming. So whatever you let go of this month is going to pay in dividends. There's no real loss here. I mean, it always hurts a little bit when you let go of something, especially if it's a dream of something, or if it's somebody you love. I mean, who knows? Things that I know for me, when I mourn the loss of something, it's usually what I thought it could be more than what it actually was. So hopefully that helps. Hopes and fears, illumination. Aries don't fear the sun. In fact, the sun is exalted in Aries. Aries does not fear the truth. Does not fear the truth. So you got nothing to fear. You're hoping for full illumination. And you might get some of that. We have the High Priestess as the outcome card. This is something being revealed to you, information that you didn't have before, you're going to get coming up. Now, that's interesting because we have quite a few major arcanas here, but I almost feel like in letting go of what uh, you've lost and being willing to move on from that and just releasing any um, attachments that you have to either outcomes or people or situations, um, then you're privy to some secret information. Underneath it all, we have the Justice card, the Nine of Pentacles, which is about being protected, being safe behind your garden wall, as it were, and the Hierophant, listening to the voice within. So these are quite powerful energies that are underneath it. You are safe. Whatever is going on, you are safe from it. You are safe. Okay. And justice will be served. Justice will be served. So I'll leave that with you guys. I'm also picking a oracle card as I do. I usually use the same deck for all the signs. It's the only thing that really is the same. Okay. And this is a deck called the Spirit of the Wheel. It's actually a meditation deck. It's got some beautiful artwork and it's really well written. So I'm just going to read from the book. No point in reinventing the wheel because this wheel is fantastic. I'll get it. Reinventing the spirit of the wheel. So funny. I'm cracking myself up. Introspection, spirit path of the West, new perspective, retreat, and unity. New perspective. Well, that certainly came up in your cards. Okay. Let me just get to the page here. And I have to take my glasses off because it's very small. Can you see that? I don't know how I can even read it, but I can't, but only with my glasses off. So let me do it this way. So make sure we focus on the card. Look at that bear medicine. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna wait till you get to really see the card. Oh, there it is. Lovely. Okay, now I'll read it. Um, you have recently gone through a period of confusion and chaos that has left you feeling off-centered with little control over your life. Yeah, that Five of Cups down at the bottom of the thing, the reading. Silent retreat within creates a safe place where you can calmly gain some perspective on your life. As you journey within, close off all noise and interference of the outer world. Within this sacred space, you are able to connect with your higher self and feel oneness of spirit that will bring unity back into your life. This is an optimum time to work on developing your dreams and visions. From a place of balance and solitude, your true nature and potential will reveal itself. Pursue your dreams with faith and trust that that what you aspire to create comes from a higher vision and not from someone else's expectations. If you are working from a place of universal oneness, then the ideas and thoughts that flow through your mind are truly inspired by the divine. Take the time to retreat and gain some perspective will bring you into a state of balance where your mind, body, and emotions and spirits are working in sync. Well, isn't that lovely? All right. Well, it's all going to be good, Aries. It's all good. All right. Well, enjoy your May. It's my favorite month. Take care of yourself. I'll see you again in a month for the June Taroscopes. Until then, join me in the morning when I walk through the garden, and it's May now, so it's going to be a lot prettier than it has been. This is my favorite time. This is when the garden really sings to me. And of course, we always have Mystic Sisters on Saturdays, me and Ona, or I do Moon Shadows. She does Moonshine, and we're all over it. We're always on. So check it out. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. Namaste.